How big of a loss is Diggs? What's your reaction?
This is a huge loss for the Cowboys, right? Huge loss for the league. I mean, this kid, we know what he can do.
Yes,
he picks that ball off, and I love to watch the way he plays. Hell of a player, no matter what team he's on. My heart goes out to him and his family, his friends. He's such a good player, and having an injury like that ACL, it sucks. It truly does.
Sucks. That's what it is when there's an injury like this. It's the worst, especially knowing that there was some speculation that he's just had a knee injury and now it's confirmed, so he's going to miss the rest of the season. There was a little hope that maybe he'd be able to come back, but now we know he won't. I mean, they have the #1 pass coverage in the league.
Duel for sure.
And that's going to take a hit now. It's just, it sucks.
James, you mentioned something 2 days ago. We were talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're currently the best team in football. You agree with me, they're currently the best team in football. I know you're distraught. I, too, am. You said, and I asked, what's the only thing that can stop the Dallas Cowboys? We all had our different answers. We all had several different answers. But your answer was what?
Only thing holding them back is injuries. And they just lost one of their best players on the defensive side of the ball. And you got to understand that the Cowboys is playing really good defense, but that back end feeds off that front seven.
Yes, it does.
You know, and you got a guy in Trevon Diggs who's a ball hawk. So he knows, all right, Micah, Lawrence, those boys is going to get there in 2 seconds, right? So now I can be able to, you know, sit here on these routes, break on some footballs, and go make plays. To not have a ball hawk out there, that's going to be huge for this Cowboys defense. Not saying they can't, you know, put somebody in that spot to do a solid job. It obviously ain't going to be Diggs, but, you know, they possibly can rebound it off this because of their front seven, can get there. But this is a blow because you can't underestimate taking the football away.
Yeah.
And that is what he does.
Here's the thing. Now, sober minds must prevail. It's never good to lose an all-pro, ever. And Trevon Diggs is a 10-interception caliber all-pro. But if we can add some sort of sobriety to it, if any team was suited to handle this, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Deron Bland had 5 interceptions last year in the slot. He'll likely move outside. Jordan Lewis will likely move to the nickelback position. That's where he's most familiar. Remember, the Cowboys have the deepest secondary, I would say, at least at the safety position, in all of football. Donovan Wilson hasn't played yet. He's coming back. Jerron Kearse plus Malik Hooker, they will both be present. Then on the front end, you've already talked about the Cowboys rushers. You got Micah Parsons. You got DeMarcus Lawrence. You got Dorrance Armstrong. You got Dante Fowler. You have a plethora of pass rushers that will compensate for the lack of the back end. But if anybody in football can actually withstand this gut punch, because it is a gut punch, Shady, I think it is the Dallas Cowboys. You know Stephon Gilmore well.
Yeah.
All-pro cornerback on the other side, 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. When somebody of Trevon Diggs' caliber gets hurt, how does picking up the slack work in the National Football League?
I think it's tough just because, like, Stephon Gilmore, they can each play both sides. So, okay, if the #1 receiver comes on the right side, cool. Don't worry about it, bro. I got it. He goes on the left side, cool. I got it. Where now, as a defense, you got to figure that out. How do we adjust now? Dang, Trevon's not here. One of our lockdown cornerbacks. What do we do? It's going to put a lot of pressure on an old veteran like Stephon Gilmore, who can handle it. But just the other side, I'm worried about that. Yeah. Now, one thing is, the good thing about the Cowboys, they get a lot of pass rush. They get to the quarterback, and that will help out. I think it will neutralize the loss. But Trevon Diggs is a hell of a player. You can't make up for that. I mean, he's that good of a player.
I mean, there's certain levels of talent that you're not going to replace, obviously. The line helps anyone else who's back there. It's just more about the fact that he's not coming back. Like, that's really what is frustrating about it. If there was a time later on in the season that he would be back, you know, you look at the schedule, they've got the Cardinals, the Pats, the Niners, the Chargers, and then a week 7 bye. Obviously, there's no point in talking about this because he's not coming back, but that's really what is concerning about it. I don't think that they're going to drop off a cliff as a defense. I do think it does. It provides a bit of a hit when we're talking about the things that we were talking about with the Dallas Cowboys defense, of them being generational, of them being in a space where the offense is not going to have to perform every single week. Sure. This puts more pressure on the offense. When you lose a player of this caliber, that is the trickle effect of losing a player like this, because you do have Gilmore, you do have a ton of other talent around on the defensive side of the ball, but the conversations that we've been having about the Cowboys is that maybe the offense doesn't need to be prolific because that defense is the way that it is.
And we're only talking about X's and O's in football. What about the emotional impact he has on the team?
Yeah.
If you really watch the Dallas Cowboys, Micah is vocal on defense, right? Because Stephon Gilmore's quiet.
Very quiet.
But Micah's loud and Trevon Diggs is loud. And they get the defense going. He gets it going in the back end, Mike gets it going in the front end. When you lose that, now what? Who's going to be the vocal guy to speak up, get the guys riled up, get the guys ready to play? Who does that?
No doubt, and that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because adjustments could be made, right? Stephon Gilmore's still an elite corner in this game, right?
Yes, he is.
You ain't seen a lot of traveling, right? Now it's time for you to go travel and take the best receiver away. And then you let the young fellas work on the number 2s and the number 3 receivers, and you're able to put some help over the top because you know the pass rush is coming. So you have a lot of answers to be able to kind of, soften this situation or soften this blow because of your pass rush and because you got another all-pro corner. But yes, this is an emotional blow for the Cowboys too. You're coming off of 2 dominant football games and you just lose one of your best players. So this is when head coach Mike McCarthy has to step up, and he got to get these dudes to rally.
Let's elaborate on Joy's point. Schematically, right? Everybody will say, oh, Trevon Diggs is such a big loss, but we got to break down the why. Defense in football is all a numbers game. It's really simple. It's really just basic math. It's just a numbers game. When you have Trevon Diggs and you have Stephon Gilmore, you can say, hey, both of y'all lock the outside. We're not helping y'all. We're going to use both of our safeties. One safety, help the tight end. Other safety, help the running back. Or better yet, hey, safeties, just play free. Rob the quarterback. Stare in his eyes and rob.
Yeah.
When you lose somebody like Trevon Diggs, now you have to say, hey, safety, Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, Jerron Kearse. Hey, help Deron Bland. Yeah. Hey, so I know I got to take you out the middle, but just lean that way. Lean that way. I need you to lean to Deron Bland's side, which now makes somebody else more vulnerable, more susceptible. Shady, I want to ask you this question. The Cowboys got Stephon Gilmore because they wanted 2 lockdown corners.
That's right.
Well, why do you need 2 lockdown corners? Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. Why do you need 2 lockdown corners? Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Why do you need 2 lockdown corners? Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They got these 2 lockdown corners particularly to make sure they win the division. Scary Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Washington Commanders. Yeah. So the first thing you want to do, Shady, and you know this well, is win your division.
That's
you
right.
orchestrate a roster to win the division. How does this Cowboys injury change the dynamic versus the Eagles first and foremost, then the San Francisco 49ers as well?
It's a great question. When I went to see the coach practice against the Eagles, I was talking to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And the first thing I said was, listen, I went to the Cowboys training camp. Them cornerbacks, they for real. They said, we know. They said they got Gilmore for us. Makes sense. You want to compete against your division. That's why you draft. That's why you trade for guys in your division. But now, it's going to be tough now because if you look at Philadelphia, Devontae is coming into his own. He's like a number 1.
Yes, he is.
A.J. Brown said that. He said, yo, we have 2 number 1s. And you have A.J. Brown. You know what he does? Now it puts pressure on the defense. Now, granted, I do think that the Cowboys are coached very well on defense. Their coordinator is extremely good, right? But you have to make up for it. And I don't know how you make up for this loss. Maybe it's more pressure, which I don't know if you can get that because they're getting there right away anyway. How do you change that? What do you do? That's a big question that I don't have the answer to because you get 2 cornerbacks for these wide receivers in their division.
And not only that, man, it's the fear factor. I had a chance to play with Charles Woodson and Al Harris and Tremont Williams, all lockdown corners, right? So it's the fear factor. When the quarterback breaks the huddle, they like, see Wood over there. I'm finna go this way. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, Dirty over there. Al Harris over there. Ooh. So it's the fear factor. Now it's like, oh, Gilmore over there. This is where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So if A.J. Brown over there and Gilmore's following A.J. Brown, you got to believe Jalen Hurts is like, ooh, okay, I got 2 number 1s.
It's safer over there, right?
It's safer over there, right?
Point,
Not saying we're going to make every play, but it's safer over there. So it's easy for me as a quarterback. I'm working this side. The Cowboys had 2 lockdown corners. So right when Zach Wilson or right when Daniel Jones come out there, it's like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that Stephon Diggs don't give up passes or Gilmore don't give up passes, but we've seen him pick off a lot of passes as well. And it's just mentally the fear factor for the quarterback. And not having him out there, you better believe it's going to be game plans to go after them other corners.
Joy, let's ask the most important question to you then, because at the end of the day, it's about Super Bowls. It's about winning championships. It's about going the distance. It's about being far. Dan Quinn is a defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Phenomenal defensive coordinator. Coordinated some of those Seahawks defenses. Mike McCarthy is a head coach for the Cowboys. Won a Super Bowl as a head coach. Does this change your opinion of the Cowboys? Or do you think that we've talked about them being generational? Can they sustain this?
I think that it takes them a notch down defensively. Defensively, I think it takes them a notch down from the generational aspect because he's had 18 interceptions since he entered the NFL in 2020. That's tied for the most in the NFL. So what he provides is not just lockdown coverage. He provides turnovers. He provides offensive opportunities. He provides
Talk to him, Jordan.
Points, field position. That's what he provides. So you really can't replace that. But But, and I haven't said too many positive things about the Cowboys this week, and there's nothing really positive to say about it, but I do think that they're closer to what they were last year now. And to me, that they had a defense, what? Stephon Gilmore's not still there?
He's still there.
Was Diggs there last year?
Diggs there last year, yeah.
No, I just think like, dang.
Yes.
Because
But
I thought
they were, yes.
Like I thought they're your heat.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure,
mean?
but
I
that's
like
but
hearing
this
that.
is,
She on in,
this
like,
is
I
why-
agree with her. I just don't like that I agree with her.
But this is why we play the games. Like, this is why all the stuff that we talk about on paper, we really can't examine if we're right or wrong until the end of the season because we can't account for these injuries. We know they're all going to happen, and there will be more, unfortunately, because that's the nature of the game. But to me, while this is awful and you can't replace that kind of production and this specific type of production, they're, to me, what they were last year, which was good enough to win a Super Bowl last year, to me. So they're down a notch from being the generational aspect because you can't lose a player like this, I believe, and stay in that space because he is that talented. So I want to give him his flowers in that space. But also, they have a ton of weapons. They are well coached, and they have experience.
And get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
James, I got two thoughts for you, two questions for you, and then we'll probably have to take this one to break. We will revisit this topic, obviously, later in the day. My first question, Peanut Tillman. He was the dominant cornerback for the Chicago Bears when you were playing and leading the league in touchdown receptions for the Green Bay Packers. When somebody like Peanut is out, how does a receiver change the approach? How does an offense change their approach attacking a team when a superstar corner is out? First question.
It's very simple. We go in there with the football, right? And we go in there again and again and again and again, right? We don't care if you bat down one ball. We don't care if you get one pick. We are going at you with the football, period, right? If we know that you have a lockdown corner on the other side or one of your best players is out on this side of the field, we are attacking that side of the field. So as for the Cowboys, this is going to be huge. But what I will say, if there's anybody that's prepared for it, and I always give Coach Mike credit, you know, because I believe Coach Mike is one of the best coaches of all time, and that's fine. I played for him. But
All time.
the year we won the Super Bowl, we lost 18 starters. 18 starters due to injury, and we still found a way to win the Super Bowl. So if it's anybody that can rally these dudes, if it's anybody that's been through this situation, and I know it's just one starter, but if it's anybody that knows what it looks like to lose key players and still find a way to win the Super Bowl, it's Coach Mike. And on the defensive side of the ball, I played against the Legion of Boom plenty of times, right? They're a cover 3 team, right? Especially to the boundary. To the short side of the field, they are a cover 3 team. They are inside leverage cover 3. So the corner knows he either running a go, he running a stop,
no doubt,
or he running an in cut. That's all you playing, right? On the other side, it's either going to be cover 2 or it's going to be man-to-man. So defensively, with their pressure, they will be fine. But if it's anybody that can lead them, it's Coach Mike, especially after losing.
And Dan Quinn's a hell of a defensive
No
coach.
question.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal, DC.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.